The apex of society is referred to as the upper class. The capitalist class, or simply the rich, is a term used to describe people who have a lot of money and power. This social class has a lot of clout in the country's political and economic institutions, as well as the media. The upper class includes politicians, heirs to fortunes, top business executives such as CEOs, successful venture capitalists, and celebrities. Some prominent and high-ranking professionals may be included if they achieve significant influence and wealth. In the upper middle class strata, others are physicians, dentists, lawyers, accountants, engineers, military officers, economists, urban planners, university professors, architects, stockbrokers, psychologists, scientists, actuaries, and optometrists, among others. Their source of income is the most distinguishable trait of this group. While salaries provide income for most people and households, the upper class relies heavily on investments and capital gains. Depending on the class model employed, households having a net worth of $1 million or more may be classified as members of the upper socioeconomic population. While most modern sociologists believe that just 1% of homes are upper class, sociologist Leonard Beagley claims that all households with a net worth of $1 million or more are considered wealthy. He classifies the wealthy into two categories: the wealthy and the super wealthy. The wealthy make up around 5% of all families in the United States, and their money is mostly held in home equity. Other contemporary sociologists, such as Dennis Gilbert, assert that this group belongs to the upper middle class rather than the upper class because their standard of living is mostly derived from occupation-generated income, and their wealth is significantly below that of the top percentile. According to Beagley, the super rich are people who can live off their fortune without relying on job-related income. This group accounts for around 0.9% of all households in the United States. Beagley's concept of the super rich is similar to most other sociologists' definitions of the upper class. For example, the top 0.1% of the population, with an annual income of $9.5 million or more, received 5% of the combined income of the United States in 2007. These 15,000 families have been characterized as the richest of the rich. If you were ever curious about what it takes to be considered wealthy, here it is. According to a survey done by Pew Research, it takes an annual income of more than $100,000 to be in the upper class. Although the cost of living varies widely across the country, estimates of how much income is needed to be considered wealthy differ across regions and communities. For example, those living in suburban communities say it takes more than $100,000 to be considered wealthy in their area than those living in urban or rural areas. Notable characteristics of the upper class. 1. Wealth. The upper class is usually described as the top 1 or 2% of families in terms of wealth. As a result, the upper class accounts for around 2% of the population, while the bourgeois, middle, and lower classes are all larger groups. Despite this, the upper class has the capacity to own more money than all of these groups put together. Of course, this partly depends on a country's tax policy, since high taxes on the wealthy can prevent this from happening. 2. Income. The upper class generally put their money to work as productive capital to produce revenue to preserve it, and those that do well in this area can pass on their wealth to future generations. 3. Labor. The upper class may live off of their capital alone and do not need to work to make ends meet. Despite this, many upper class people may opt to work. 4. Old and new money. Old money refers to the wealthy upper class families that have, had, or inherited money for at least 3 generations. In contrast, nouveau riche refers to individuals who have been wealthy for only a generation or 2. When there is ongoing temptation to splurge and individuals approach you with investment pitches, the abilities required to make money or inherit money are sometimes different from the talents needed to sustain wealth over time. Old money families are often thrifty and economically prudent, thus avoiding flashy displays of wealth. 5. Capitalization of culture. The power to influence a culture is referred to as cultural capital. The upper class has its own set of social conventions, expectations, and common experiences that enable them to quickly recognize one another in conversation. This is especially true for families with a long history of wealth. The upper class of a country, for example, tend to vacation in the same places, attend the same schools, and socialize with the same people. Knowing other affluent people opens doors to a plethora of opportunities in life, such as positions, employment, titles, honors, and favors from those in power, which helps these families stay wealthy. 6. Social position. The respect you receive from society is regarded as your social position. The upper class typically has a high social standing and may work hard to increase their family's social status. For example, by securing admission to Ivy League colleges for their children. 7. Signaling. Signaling is a method of gaining social status by displaying wealth, brilliance, coolness, or youth in extremely obvious ways. Purchasing a supercar, for example, conveys riches, coolness, and youth, yet attending high-profile conferences conveys knowledge. Every social class is prone to signaling, but the upper class has the means to carry it to its rational end. Signaling in general is terrible for long-term wealth preservation, and some old money families shun it on principle. 8. Counter-signaling. To portray social standing, counter-signaling involves using calm, confidence, and understatement. For example, consider a wealthy person who never tells their colleagues about their money, since they already know. When done correctly, counter-signaling is more effective than signaling and should not be mistaken for genuine humility. 9. Spending in the public eye. Excessive consumption is a problem for some upper-class people. Others are realistic, buying high-quality goods, but not obsessively. 10. Maintain public appearance. Social life in upper-class groups is frequently centered on charitable giving and support for art and culture. This might be considered a form of conspicuous conservation. 11. Values. The top class of a society may share a set of ideals. Sharing these ideas, or claiming to, is part of the cultural capital necessary to create ties with the upper class. For example, it is highly usual for the upper class to have a strong cosmopolitanism ethic. 12. Invest in relationships. The individuals you know and the potential for these ties to have future value are referred to as relational capital. For example, the upper class may know a large number of influential people and attempt to use this network for social and financial gain. 13. Political influence. The upper class wields political influence as a class by using their social capital and riches. They may, for example, fund political candidates in order to influence public policy. 14. Rent-seeking. In certain circumstances, the upper class uses its political clout to pursue a larger share of income without producing more value. This is referred to as rent-seeking. Many countries have historically had an aristocracy that was a rent-seeking class that profited from public lands and taxes without creating value-added commodities and services. Today, the affluent may push the government for anti-competitive measures, such as tariffs, expansive government contracts, lower taxes for the wealthy, special tax treatment, liability protection, rights to government assets, and subsidies. Well, there you have it. This exclusive class comes with some privileges and financial freedom from having better access to healthcare, marrying people of higher social status, attending more prestigious schools, and being more influential in politics than people in the middle class or working class. And if you want to be a part of them, you know what figure you should aim for. With that said, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Give it a like and subscribe if you're new here. And don't forget to have a great day.